Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be carrying on with something that I started last year where I give you quick tips if I've received a particular question. So today I'm going to do this in the car because I'm literally just waiting for my husband. We've just finished church and I thought, why not do one of these videos? So the question that I have is a question that I actually got from my client, and we were in a coaching call, and the question that she asked is, what can I do if I want to move out of my parents' house? She has been living in her parents' house for a few years, and you may have been doing the same, and you might be thinking, okay, I really want to move out this year. What do I need to focus on to make that happen? And how do I move out to the point where once I leave, I am still able to work towards some of my other financial goals? So I want to give 3 tips that I would say that you want to think about if you are in this situation. Okay, so my first tip would be that you want to calculate the cost. Now, this will be the same whether you are buying or renting, but there will be obviously different costs. So for example, when you're renting, you want to ask yourself, okay, well, how much is the rent going to be? Am I going to have to pay for my own utility bills like electricity and gas and water? Am I going to have to pay for things like tax? So if you're in the UK, you'll be thinking about council tax, and also any other expenses that you think might come up that you're not currently paying for now. So I would list out what you think you would end up paying for, because that will then give you a good idea in terms of, okay, how much am I going to be working with? How much will I have left after I've done that? The same with you buying somewhere. Yes, you will also have the additional cost that you may also have with renting, but you're probably going to have other things like home insurance, or you might have things like life insurance. And so you want to be able to, again, have a rough idea in terms of how much you're going to be spending, because that's probably quite different to what you're paying if you're staying at your parents' house, especially if you're staying rent-free at the moment. The second thing I will say is that if you want to move out of your parents' house, whether it's buying, whether it's renting, I would also be saving for any unexpected expenses. Now, people will say like this is an emergency fund. It doesn't matter what you call it, but I would say before you actually move out of your parents' house, definitely get used to saving for that now. And the reason being is because you don't want to move out to this new place and be all happy and excited, but then something happens and then you don't have any money and you end up having to go into debt. We don't want that at all, of course not. So what I would say is, before you even move out of your parents' house, to have some peace, definitely save for unexpected expenses. So for example, when you buy a house, you basically have the sole responsibility of everything. So if the boiler breaks down, if something happens to your house, if you've got to change the roof, that's on you. So you want to make sure that, of course, you have enough money to be able to withstand any of those problems that might happen once you move. Even with renting, although your landlord will probably take care of most of the things, you may have some unexpected expenses that aren't necessarily to do with where you're living. So for example, it could be that your car breaks down and you all of a sudden have to pay and fix the car in order for you to drive to work. So although it's not a direct expense to you renting, it is an expense for you, and it could be an unexpected expense. And so what you want to do is you just want to save for that before you actually move out, so that by the time you move into your new place, you have the peace of mind knowing that you also have some savings to back you up just in case anything happens. And so when you do move out, it ends up becoming a blessing because obviously you're prepared. Then I have a third tip for you, and the third tip is to start living as if you have moved out already. Now, what do I mean by this? When you are, for example, living at your parents' house, or maybe you're living in a place where rent is really cheap. There was a time where I was a lodger and I was literally paying $300 a month, all bills included, for everything. It was amazing. But when you don't really have much to pay when it comes to housing expenses, you may not realize how different it can be when you eventually move out. Like, the culture shock is real, okay? And I'm speaking from experience. So just to kind of not be that surprised, I would start living as if you were in your new place already. So if, for example, you realize that your expenses in terms of your rent or mortgage and also your other bills, if they are going to come to like $1,500 a month, why don't you start living like that and save that money? Because the savings that you make, you can then use that to save for the unexpected expenses that I mentioned before. So start living as if you've already moved out, because that will help you to understand, okay, the amount that I'm going to be putting away for those housing bills, do I have enough to also live on? Do I have enough to spend? Do I have enough to save for other things? Do I have enough to, you know, go on holidays and things like that? You want to be able to make sure that you're comfortable with doing that, because obviously if not, then when you eventually move, it's going to be really, really stressful, because you're not going to be able to save as much. You may not be able to spend any money if your housing cost is really, really expensive. So I think this is a really good exercise just to see actually what is the maximum that you would be willing to pay overall for either your rent or mortgage plus your other bills, which will also allow you to live your life as well and also save for the future too. So I think those are my 3 tips. If you are someone who has decided that you do really want to move out this year, but maybe you're struggling with saving for that, that is of course something that I can help you with in one-on-one money coaching. What I will do is help you to save your first 5K so that you can actually use that towards either saving for those unexpected expenses or saving for a down payment if you're looking to buy a house. So if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, you can book a call to find out more about working with me. But I hope that was useful. I think my husband is going to be coming round soon now. But if you did like this video, please do give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and also subscribe to the channel if you would like more content from me too. But yeah, hopefully that was useful, and I will see you guys in another video. Oh, look at him, he's here now. Hey Inka, you want to say a quick hi?
What's up?